Scroll down to week 8, and of course it will be colored whenever you see it, but for right now it's not. It is invisible for you right now. But by the time Sunday night midnight rolls around, it will be open for you. Nonetheless, when you click on week 8, there's a couple things going on. Week 3, writing project 3 guidelines. Go ahead and check those out. Those are the obviously the guidelines for our new writing project. Let's take a look at those real quick. So what we're doing here is we're writing a 4 to 5 page academic argument paper. And really what that means is that you're trying to come up with the current state of the field. What is it that everybody believes? And you're going to try and figure out something that goes against that in some form or fashion. You're going to find somewhere to disagree with what the commonly held belief is. And so if everyone says that, maybe gun legislation is the answer to stopping mass shootings, find some part of that you disagree with. Find something that you disagree with what everyone else thinks. Be the Galileo or the Isaac Newton of the group, and find something that is wrong with what the common belief is in your field. And of course, your field is whatever you want it to be. It's your social issue that you chose at the beginning. Now you can change. Now that we're getting to writing project 3, you can change your topic again. Again, if you changed it before. But it does require you a little bit more work because now you have to find new sources. In the past, if you stuck with the same topic for the first and second and now third writing project, you can keep your same sources, and some of the essay may even transition over. But nonetheless, for this assignment, take information gleaned from writing project 1 and 2. You found several sources on your topic. Now find areas with which you disagree. You must begin to add to this research by exploring areas in which common beliefs might be off or slightly different. So it may not be that you think they're wrong, just maybe you think that they're inaccurate or they're incorrect in some form or fashion. Or maybe they're missing something. If you say that, if everyone says that there's 3 parts to a theory, and you might say, no, I think you guys are missing, maybe there's 4 parts. You're adding something to it, and that's fine as well. Conduct extensive scholarly research, 4 to 5 pages. This time we're going to have 7 sources. So in the past we had 5, so now we're just adding 2 more to it. That's kind of the way this goes about. We started out with 3, I think, and then we moved up to 5, and then we moved up to 7. These sources will inform the reader about current state of the field. By field, I'm talking about everyone that is interested in your topic. Your field is made up of all the individuals who study your topic. Let's see. You will use CAC library to get your sources, of course. Let's see what we're missing here. Oops, it's going up when I'm telling it to go down. Okay, so the way that this will work, turn in our main claim and our subclaims, and we'll talk about that when the time comes. And then, of course, our works cited with our 7 sources, and then our rough draft and our final draft. So those are all pretty easy things. So if you have any questions about that, of course, let me know. But let's go ahead and head back and see what else we're doing for the week. Go back to that course content. Back down to week 8. And now, after you've checked out the Writing Project 3 guidelines, I want you to take a look at your topic. The last writing project, Writing Project 2, you came up with X causes Y. You said one thing causes another event, something. Lack of gun legislation leads to mass shootings. Being a Democrat leads to being in support of abortion, whatever that might be, whatever your causal statement was. But I want you to describe what you did there. So here it says, during the last writing project, you discussed the causation of some observable event, whether that be mass shootings or abortion or gay marriage or something. Some people question the cause of police brutality, while others question the cause of poverty. And yes, I did actually have one student that questioned the cause of customer dissatisfaction in self-checkout lines. So no matter what you analyze, now's the time to begin proposing a new perspective as to why these events happen. So as this assignment, begin by describing the perspective that you adopted in your last essay. So explain to me and everyone else, because this is a discussion board, explain to the class what your causal statement was, your X causes Y. Think of what you call the stimuli. What caused some event? Explain basically what your writing project 2 paper was about in just a couple sentences. Once you've described the causal statement, that's when stuff starts getting a little difficult. I want you guys to go through, and after you've described your own, I want you to go through and read someone else's. And then I want you to try and propose some kind of alternative perspective to what they say. Basically, you're going to go out looking to get in an argument with them. Of course, try and keep it clean. Don't get in a big argument, but just suggest that maybe there's another alternative. So if someone out there says, my last paper was about how how a lack of gun legislation leads to an increase in mass shootings. Basically, without having gun laws, we have all these mass shootings, and you explain that. Now you come to that paper and you say that's good. That's an interesting perspective, but a lot of people think that gun legislation is just going to take guns away from the good guys, and address it that way. Try to, of course, keep this civil. Don't go in trying to prove them wrong. Just bring it up as an alternative. So here we have your description. So here's your description of what you might use to describe your own. In writing project 2, I analyzed the cause of poverty. So in writing project 2, describe to me what you analyzed, and tell me what you believe caused whatever it was you're analyzing. So in this case, in writing project 2, I analyzed the cause of poverty, and I believe it was caused by a struggling economy. The reason I believe this is because of whatever, and then describe your paper to me. After that, go to someone else's paper. And so let's say that someone came to this person's paper and they wanted to offer another one. Here's an example of something you might say. That's an interesting perspective on the cause of poverty, Steve. Have you considered that maybe struggling education, or a struggling education system, is the real cause of poverty? And here's why I think this. And then go on to describe why you think that. So when you're describing your own, make sure you do at least 250 words. When you're replying to someone else, make sure you have at least 100 words in your alternative perspective. So basically, like I said, describe to me your writing project 2, well, to me and the rest of the class, and then go back and read someone else's and give them an alternative perspective different from what they suggested in their second paper. After you've done that, check out the popular versus scholarly sources, because you'll need that for this. You'll need a scholarly source for this week, and plus you need to start looking at adding 2 sources to your reservoir anyways. And so let's find another scholarly source by first watching the video to make sure you're familiar with what a scholarly source is. It seems like everybody had pretty well scholarly sources throughout, so there's probably not a problem, but nonetheless, review it if nothing else. And then this how to read a scholarly article, I suggest everyone read that one because it does offer some pretty good strategies on how to kind of blaze through these articles. I know they can be 15, 20 pages sometimes, and that's a lot of time reading, and this article will show you a way to kind of blaze through that a little bit. Last but not least, the last assignment for the week is the popular belief. What you're going to do there is no matter what you wrote about in writing project 2, I want you to take your topic and consider the entire field of your topic. Again, the field is all of the people that study that. Those people make up the field. So if you're studying gun laws, then your field consists of everyone else in the world who is looking at gun laws. I want you to find out what is the most common perspective there. If you're looking at do gun laws cause mass shootings, or a lack of gun laws cause mass shootings, what does everybody else think in that field? Because it's made up of a lot of people, and there's a lot of experts out there. What is the commonly held belief? What is the status quo? What does everyone else believe in that field? What does the majority of people think in that field? After you've described that to me in 150 words, I also want you to back that up with an outside source. You don't necessarily have to go through the source and say, Dr. whoever says this, and here's where they say it on page 5, and they say this, and this is why I believe. You don't have to describe the source to me. Just describe to me in your own words what the rest of the field believes, and then just give me a works cited citation so that I can see which article you're using. So for instance, if you looked at William Vizard's paper on the current and future state of gun policy in the United States, I don't want you to go through and say, well, Vizard says this, Vizard says this. I want you to put it in your own words. Don't worry about an in-text citation. All I want is the works cited page and the citation that goes there. That way I can ensure that you have a scholarly article, and I can ensure that, too, you're actually using an article to back up your claims. And other than that, that's what we're doing this week. So as always, let me know if you guys have any questions. This week is hopefully a little easier than last week since we were turning in our final drafts, and those things can be sometimes stressful. So hopefully stress is wearing off and everybody's getting a little bit easier on the grind. So let me know if you have any questions, and if not, I will see you guys next week.